awkward. Some people are more palely complected. And what I can see visually, do people who are doing this start to blush? Yeah, I start pointing to people. It's very likely I can make her blush. Isn't that cute? She's turning her head. Okay. Can we measure the impact of this stupid little experiment? This silly piece of trivia. Physiologically. Well, first off, how many people felt a little uncomfortable doing this? A little uncomfortable. How many people didn't bother at all? Okay, some people. Honestly, you can tell, actually, even though you're not admitting it, there was more of a concern with this than most of you are admitting. If I put a blood pressure cuff on you and did what they use for a lie detector, blood pressure cuff, galvanic skin response, that is how much you sweat, what do you think would have happened to your blood pressure as you engaged in eye contact? Up or down? Up. Yeah, up. I can measure that just in this sound level in the class, right? This is 8 o'clock in the morning. Getting you guys to talk is like pulling teeth. Yeah, it's exactly. It's the most conversation I've ever seen in this class. It's talk, 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 talk. People are laughing. Some people are blushing. Carrying on. How come? Because it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. How come? What does it mean to hold eye contact? And why does it, in this case, maybe make you feel, at least some people, a little uncomfortable? Even though they may not admit it.
Could it be that most people believe that the eyes are the doorway to the soul?
Eyes are the doorway to the soul. You're taking your lit class. Good for you. But I'm a sociologist and I'm not no friggin' lit major. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What does that mean then? It is an act of what? What does it mean? Yeah.
Eye contact, intimate.
Exactly. One of the implications of eye contact is intimacy. Intimacy. The eyes are the windows. Okay. But you look longingly. You hold the gaze of the person you are in love with. Is there an incredible intensity to that? Now, you have to get old now. Some of you might be old enough to go to a bar. But you go into a bar and you catch her eyes and she doesn't look away. And you think, what? Yes! Okay. All right. That is a kind of intimacy. What else can it be?
Aggression.
Pardon?
Aggression.
Exactly. You fucking talking to me? You want some of this asshole? All right. So it can imply aggression. Is this probably not merely found amongst our species, that holding eye contact is a sign of aggression? Yes, it's found in other mammals as well. Anybody used to working with dogs? I've worked with dogs all my life, right? What's the standard line of a vet if you get a highly aggressive dog around? A Rottweiler, rah, 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 rah. What you should not do? What should you do?
Look in the eye.
Look him in the eye. You look him in the eye, it implies to the Rottweiler that you think that you are alpha male. That you're the dominant one. And the Rottweiler thinks, oh no you're not. And I can prove it. Yeah, it implies dominance. Yeah, Michael.
Isn't it also said to gaze downward below them because that implies?
Yes, submission.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and have we seen this also in different ethnic groups? In this country, for example, going into a job interview, what do we get told in terms of making eye contact if you're talking to the boss?
Do it.
Do it. Make contact, sir. If you give me a chance, I promise you won't be disappointed. So that implies what? Not merely intimacy, not merely aggression, but what?
Confidence.
Self-confidence. Self-confidence. But if we're in a different culture, for example, in some Asian cultures, as Michael implies, should you now be looking at your boss in the eyes? No, you should keep them down on the ground as an act of respect. So what else can it imply? Eye contact can imply, lack of eye contact can imply for certain cultures, respect. What else can it mean? Yeah.
They don't look at it as like a sign of submission. I mean,
Yeah.
they look at it as respect.
Exactly. It's a respect attitude coming from eye contact. Look what we're saying about eye contact. This silly little process are infinite mirrors. Once we start taking a look at it, there's more and more being said. More and more information about that. What else can it mean? How about honesty? Crash in the kitchen. You go running in. Two little kids cookie jar in shambles. You take a look at Johnny. Young man, what happened? He gives you eye contact. It wasn't me, Mom, it was Billy. And but no, it wasn't me, Mom, it was Johnny. Who did it? Obviously the kid who won't give you eye contact. Eye contact also implies honesty. Honesty. Which is why once you learn these rules, you can breach them or you can fake them. You know, once you reach adolescence, that if you're going to lie, you better make eye contact. Mom, I have no idea how that dent got in that fender. Okay, what else can it mean? You're paying attention, interest. Okay, as I do a lecture like this, I'm making eye contact and holding it for a split second. Almost every student in the classroom. And what I'm looking for is if I'm getting eye contact, because that pretty much means what? You're listening, you're paying attention. And I'm getting a lot of eye contact on this lecture. I get a lot of it. Whenever I do this lecture, I get a lot of eye contact. Remember Linsky? Remember hunting and gathering, horticulture, agrarian? Was I getting this kind of eye contact then? How come? Most people were what? Freaking boring, dude. Yeah. Paying attention. Again, the infinite set of mirrors. Once we look at this stuff, there's just hundreds of these little bitty rules and their meaning. This also implies that these interactionists study things that we all take for granted. Okay, Tyler, yeah, what?
So my girlfriend's in massage therapist, and she's in this mind-body class, where it's basically about reading what people, like the jawline or like the structure of the body, how it is. Is that applying to this and how it's like reading people and stuff like that? Exactly.
That's exactly what's going on. There was a sociologist by the name of Raymond Birdwhistle. I'm not making that name up. He was an interactional sociologist and probably became an interactional sociologist because of his last name. Can you imagine this kid in junior high school? Hey, Birdwhistle, do you tweet? So he became an interactional sociologist and became fascinated with the kind of stuff. You said your mother or your girlfriend? Girlfriend. The kind of stuff she's talking about. Subtle, very subtle jaw angles, subtle movements. I threw a presentation by him. He analyzed an interaction between a psychiatrist and a patient. I saw it at a conference. He had what he called microsecond analysis. It showed the interaction of this standard intake interview of a psychiatrist and a patient. You know, asking the standard stuff when they're being treated for mental illness. What was your parents like? Do you have any drug history? Was there any trauma early in life? What do you like to do? This kind of stuff. Male psychiatrist, female patient. Okay, standard stuff. He then slowed the video down. Started taking a look at it precisely like the kind of stuff, jaw angle, subtle movements. What was interesting was he slowed it down. Just like not microsecond piece of behavior. The psychiatrist subtly shifted his position. He leaned slightly forward. What did the patient do?
Lean back.
You'd think that. That's exactly what you'd think. But instead, she moved forward. She moved back, he moved back. And there was this subtle dance-like routine that you caught only in this microsecond analysis that had a strong flavor of sex. Yeah, sex to it. Whoa. Birdwhistle analyzed this film, went to the psychiatrist to talk about it. Well, it turned out it wasn't a real interview with a real patient because that would have been violating privacy. So he got his girlfriend to pretend to be a patient. But did Birdwhistle pick that up? This kind of intimate relationship by these there's nothing being said. There's no, hey babe. No, it's just subtle movements. A shift of position, a raise an eyebrow. That once you start taking a look, you find all this stuff going on. And this is why many psychiatrists have been interested in this kind of analysis, precisely because it's not just what patients say, because we're communicating on many channels, by body distance, by eye contact, that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of this stuff being studied. Yeah, Michael.
Wasn't there another guy who studied stuff similar, Paul Ekman? I remember that.
Yeah, there's just hundreds of these studies. Once you start taking a look at it, it becomes fascinating. All right, this also implies that these guys are interested in things that are pretty kind of weird. There's been a lot of studies of behavior in elevators. The interactions have spent a lot of time studying elevators for the obvious reason. How come? Exactly. You're forced to violate a lot of rules once you're in an elevator. Especially a crowded, you got a little, 4 feet by 4 feet elevator, and you got 10 people in it. Now you are crammed in. What's probably going to happen here is kind of what the opposite of a lot of you did. If you're making contact with someone you didn't know and you're now physically close, what did you do? You lean back. Now, in this elevator, people are now crammed in right next to each other. So what do with their eye contact? They try and compensate by the fact you're now violating this. You're now this close with a complete stranger. What do you not want to do? Make eye contact. So what happens when people get in an elevator? They lose 70 IQ points. How come? Because what do? They walk into the elevator. What does everybody do? They look at their feet. Those are my feet. Hello, feet. Or what else do? They look at the numbers as they light up. There goes 2, and 3. That 4 is coming. Yep, I was right. How come people do the same stupid things in elevator all the time? Why are these rules? I know they're trivial, but this is the stuff we do everyday life. All right, but let's get a little more specific yet, because these interactionists are studying things like language and language use. This is the strategic study of language. This is not linguistics, but sociolinguistics. What that means is the social use of language. This is not verb, adverb, noun, clause, this kind of stuff you'll get in your English class. This is studying language for its strategy and its use in groups. So, what we oftentimes study is things like conversation acknowledgement. Get through this stuff, and then at least I can finish up Goffman next time. Okay, conversation acknowledgement. What is that? Watch two people converse. Initially, when they first started studying interaction and talk, they thought it was kind of like a tennis match. There was an active participant, and there was a passive one who just waited. Pay attention to people talking, but watch the listener and what they're doing. And you will find them doing a lot of work to maintain that conversation. And that's known as conversation acknowledgement. And it's simply things like, really? Huh, wow, cool.
Like one-liners?
One-liners are just they can just be nonverbal. Shake the head. Eye contact, really? Huh. Okay. Talk about trivial. But try breaching this. Go home this afternoon. How long can you go? Just stop it. Don't do it anymore. Don't do conversation. No. If someone's speaking to you, you have to be weird. Just a neutral face. Or, if you want, you can take control of the conversation and talk about whatever you want to. But when they're speaking, just a neutral face. How long do you think you can go?